Hope you watched lesson described in part 1 to 6 of this video lecture, where I have discussed the collection, preservation, gross examination and microscopic examination of feces or stool samples. If you do not watch, you may not understand the frequently asked question answered in this lesson. So watch those lessons first. The first question is, what are the tests I do perform for routine examination of feces or stool sample and how? I perform direct smear, sedimentation, centrifugal sedimentation and centrifugal flotation over a fecal sample submitted to the lab. If you do not have centrifuge, just do direct smear, simple sedimentation and test tube flotation test. In my lab, I simply prepare the fecal suspension using water, then perform the direct smear by taking a drop from the filtered fecal suspension. Then I perform the centrifugal sedimentation. In the same tube, the sediments left at the bottom, I add the desired flotation fluid and conduct the centrifugal flotation test. The second question is, what would be the thickness of a fecal or a stool smear? Fecal or stool smear should not be too thick. If it is too thick, light can't pass during examination, so you can't see anything. Secondly, if the smear is too thick, you can't see a small colorless trophozoid or protozoa moving in the microscopic field. Third question is, which microscopic object should use for examination of fecal or stool smear? Set the smear at 4x objective first and move to 10x and scan the smear. If you get an X, trophozoid, cyst, oocyst, or suspect anything similar to the stages of the parasite, then move to 40x for further confirmation. 100x objective is not usually used for fecal or stool smear, but if you have previously prepared permanent slides, then you may use it with well immersion. The fourth question is, how do you observe the smear under a microscope? The prepared smear should check thoroughly before commenting whether the sample is positive or negative. A smear should check or scan using the back and forth motion. That is, you should start from a corner of the smear. For example, start from the upper left corner, then go downwards to the lower left corner, change the direction, and then go up again and change the direction again, and finish examining the smear by these techniques. The fifth question is, how many tests will you perform on a sample? For a diagnostic sample, you must perform the direct smear first, then perform a test for sedimentation techniques and flotation techniques that I have shown on part 4 to 6 of this video lecture. Only performing the direct smear is not suggested for routine examination of feces or stool. Further, replication of each sample is encouraged to get more accurate results. Sample for research purpose, you have to do the same 3 tests, but at least 2 replicates for each of the sample, and each of the tests must be considered. Sometimes some of the reviewers of good journals ask to perform the test and verify the test result by 2 researchers or persons separately. The sixth question is, why sedimentation techniques is used for the recovery of the eggs of trematodes? You know, the eggs of majority of trematodes are heavy, that is, they have a higher specific gravity than the eggs of cestodes and nematodes of different helminths and cysts and oocysts of different protozoa. For an example, the specific gravity of eggs of Fascioli species is above 1.50, and the common flotation fluid used, their specific gravity ranges from 1.18 to 1.36. So it is not possible to float the eggs of trematodes with the commonly used flotation fluids. This is the reason behind performing sedimentation techniques for the detection of eggs of trematodes. The seventh question is why flotation fluid is used for the recovery of eggs of cestode and nematodes and cysts and oocysts of different protozoa. The eggs of maximum cestode and nematodes and cysts and oocysts of protozoa are usually light in weight, that is, they have a lower specific gravity which is around or below 1.10 compared to the eggs of trematodes of different helminths or protozoa. So it is possible to float the eggs of cestode and nematodes and cysts and oocysts of protozoa using the commonly used flotation fluids. This is why flotation techniques are used to detect the eggs of cestode and nematodes and cysts and oocysts of protozoa. Question number 8. Why sedimentation and flotation techniques is called concentration techniques? And which is the best concentration techniques? The reason is both sedimentation and flotation techniques are used to concentrate the eggs or cyst or oocyst in either bottom of the fluid or on the surface of the fluid. Therefore, both techniques are considered as concentration techniques. It is noted that flotation is a good concentration techniques compared to sedimentation techniques. Question number 9. Is it possible to stain the fecal smear for intestinal protozoa? Any special stain for doing so? Fecal smears can be stained for differentiation of different intestinal protozoa. The Gill-Nielsen or acid-frost staining, that is staining with carbolfuchsin, and also Giemsa stain are used for the identification of the cyst of Cryptosporidium species. The trichome stain is widely used for the detection of the cyst of Giardia species. So that's all. A lot of thanks for watching this video. If you still have questions, no problem. Write them in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer all of them. So what's the next lesson on the modified McMaster test for counting the eggs, cyst, oocyst of parasites?